Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so looking forward to speaking with you today, ShaRon, and getting some beautiful energy flowing. And right now, we are going to give people time to find us and to share this out for us. So, any of you that are jumping in here, share, share, share. You know the drill. Here we go. Even if that sky is falling down today, we're going to keep our heads up. We're going to keep looking for that high moment.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes.
Welcome.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my driving through days and nights. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Oh my God, I love that song more every time I hear it. Every time I hear those beautiful lyrics, that it just reminds me that we have choices, don't we, ShaRon?
Oh, yes, we do. Infinite ones.
And that song just brings it home.
Who sings that song, Teri? Sounds like Ed Sheeran, but it's not, right?
I know, it does have that flavor, doesn't it? The name is Candelion. Candelion. I like that. Not Dandelion, but Candelion.
Candelion.
Yes, it's beautiful music, and I'm able to play it without Facebook dinging me for it. I'm able to buy into a copyright program where I can play some music, and they've got beautiful music like that one that we can just enjoy while people share it out and come in and find us, and people are finding us. Welcome, Stacy. Welcome, Katie. Welcome, everyone who's jumping in here with us today.
Yeah.
And you know, like that song says, even if the sky is falling down and we hit that bottom and we're on that pavement, we still just pick ourselves up and keep on moving, don't we?
Yes, we do, Teri. And for me, it's become practiced of that getting up and having something to get up for, or to remember that when I get up, I'll feel better, or to remember that I have to lay down here for a while until I can get up.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing too, is to be gentle with yourself. We live in this human body. There's going to be experiences, and
Mhm.
there's going to be those moments when we're like you said, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. And I call that using the pause button.
Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
love to use the analogy that we're all living our movies. We have this movie and we're the star. We're the one that's reading the script. And sometimes as I'm watching that movie, I just want to hit the pause button. And either I'll hit the pause and I'll relish the moment that just happened,
Yes.
but that's good too. Or I'll hit the pause and I'll step back and just say, okay, breathe, just breathe. And everything is working perfectly, remembering the
Mhm.
teachings of the Course in Miracles and knowing that nothing is happening without a purpose and a reason, and maybe even just for a season.
Mhm.
So when I hit the pause button, I'm able to regroup. I'm able to go from being in that chaos to being in that focused state where I just go into my heart. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
I love how we have all these tools. Also, ShaRon, uh, for anyone who may not be familiar with who you are, I just want you to share some of what you do. But one thing that you do is work with people and really see them in a way that maybe they haven't been seen before. And you're able to give some guidance from that because you really have that observer viewpoint, kind of like the eagle, where you're just like soaring along and you're seeing this interaction. And so you can bring in more clarity. So please, for anyone who doesn't know you, and by the end of this, I'm hoping all of them will connect with you. Just share about your service that you provide to the world.
Thank you, Terry. I'm so excited to be here with you. We have been friends for a really long time, and I actually got to see you in person last month, which was such a joy. For the
This is
first time in, I think, 3 years or so, we hadn't really met in person. And that is
right.
such a gift to be grateful for, that there was an opportunity for everybody to travel safely, to get to see each other in person. And what Terry knows about me is that I am the founder of a global movement called No Judgment, Just Love. And it's an interesting movement because, of course, we judge all the time, don't we? I mean, that's just who we are, and it's normal. But it's what Terry spoke about earlier. It's pressing that pause after you make a judgment to really think about what did I just judge? Was it me? Was I judging myself harshly? And what was I judging outside of me? Then how do you want to respond? Because in our world, we mostly react. Somebody says something and we immediately have to say something back. Our texting, all of our information sources are so instantaneous. But with judgments, with looking at the world from a this or that, a right or wrong way, causes us to stay stuck in the disregard for each other, in the unawareness that everyone is valuable. So in that no judgment, I'm asking you to pause and see how you can move closer to a loving thought, a neutral thought, or even a positive thought in your response to yourself or others. Because sincerely, I know from experience of giving this allowance to myself that we will start to relate to each other differently. And that includes better. So from that perspective, Terry was saying that I do see people differently. I was out the other night, very social distance. There was a band playing and I'm dancing and singing. And I just got this overwhelming confirmation that I love people. I just love people. They're so interesting and cute and funny and weird and awesome. And every time somebody passed by me, my spirit just lifted up. And it's from that perspective that I think every single one of us is magnificent, just the most amazing being ever. And that's how I look at you. That's how, in the work that I do, which is family coaching and life coaching, that's how I coach. You start out with me with an A+. It doesn't matter what anybody's told you, what you've adopted. I see right straight through to your clarity and your divine person. And it's from there that I interact with you. And Teri, you're right. It is not a common way that we see each other, because we judge a lot and we start to create this story about who someone is or what someone has done. And you might have enough information from what you see, but guess what? Maybe they don't even know what they're talking about. Maybe they don't even know what they feel. And you've created this whole scenario that judges them to be something less than, and sincerely, that's not helpful to you or someone else, because it may or may not be the truth. So with no judgment, just love, I really invite us all to take what Teri said, is that pause after you judge, which means you're probably going to be paused in your day. Because I judge all the time. What'd you say, Teri?
You will sit until you get this message. That's what I do sometimes. I'm like, okay, just hold on. And I'll hit the pause button and I'm going, okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to stew for a minute, and then I'm going to sit here, and then I'm going to get it.
Yes. Yes, that is for sure. And some of you might be walking a crowded street and you make a judgment. Oh, ShaRon said I should probably pause. Well, not yet. Okay, I'll keep going. Another judgment. Well, I guess I should pause. I mean, so all day you're going to be stopping and starting. But I guarantee you, after a while, it becomes more and more part of you. It becomes a practice that you immediately do that gymnastic twisty-turny thing in your mind, where you now say, oh yeah, I just judged myself about whatever about me. I don't need to do that. Let me just be kind, like you said, Teri, to ourselves.
Absolutely. You know, ShaRon, you said something about getting to neutral. And, you know, many people call that the 0 point. Mm-hmm. I love just calling it neutral, just being neutral, just observing, being the observer. I use the pause button and breathing to get there myself. Do you also, can you share more about how you would maybe work with somebody or yourself?
Yeah.
And how you would achieve getting to that point where, you know, you're not feeling one way or the other about it. It just is what it is. And acceptance, I think, is a big part of that 0 point.
Yes. Well, many of my clients know me. I have a lot of new clients. And what I offer to them is you can share whatever it is you need to share. The good, the bad, and the ugly, because I sincerely am not going to have a reaction, because we're all practicing these lives. And that I don't say most, but a lot of people are kind of like a gerbil. The thoughts just keep going. They keep going, and they don't really realize that you have permission to get off of the gerbil wheel and pause for a minute. So I kind of coach in analogies. I give pictures to people. So when you're gerbiling, give yourself permission to get off the gerbil wheel and pause. And once people realize that, they don't always have something to replace that constant thought with. And that's where me as a coach comes in. I give you new thought. I give you confirming thought. I had one sweet young client who was quite uncomfortable with themselves, to the point that they said, I'm not sure if I really like me. And for someone of my generation, or just anyone in the world, it's very uncomfortable for me to hear that someone has experienced a life that didn't tell them that they were valuable, and that they now don't even know if they like the skin they're walking in 24/7. So I invited them to get off their gerbiling and pause for a minute. And the question I asked was, would you like to like yourself? That's a very profound opportunity for someone to shift their perspective and really start puzzling. Well, would I? And the response.
I'm typing that in the comments.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at that question. Would you like to like yourself?
Yes.
All of you that are listening to this, really look at those words and get into the energy of that and ask yourself that question. I love that, ShaRon.
Yes, right? Such a simple question that will cause you to pause and hopefully reflect. Whatever your answer is, there's no judgment around your answer. If your answer is no, that's a curiosity space. Like Teri said, sometimes you just need to sit in that.
Mm-hmm.
Just be with that. That's okay. We've
okay.
all had something happen to us that causes us to think less than of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult to move forward, which Teri and I and many other people in the world would love for you to give yourself permission to move forward. But if now is not the time, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, that's the breathing part. Just being okay with you. And maybe you're not ready to look at some of those things that you're holding on to so tightly, and you're just not ready to give them up. ShaRon, I've encountered that in my own life, my own personal experience, and I've encountered it so much with the people that I work with and counsel as well. And let's talk about that when we're hurt, when somebody does something and we've allowed ourselves to be hurt.
That's the truth.
We're going to say this the right way, because many people that I work with, they're like, he did this, he hurt me, he made me angry. So I try to always shift that thought around to allowing it to come in. We allow it. We make that choice. Maybe not consciously. We're not going to say, okay, I'm going to let you hurt me. But we allow that hurt in. And then sometimes we just want to hold on to that, don't we? We feel justified.
Oh, yes.
Oh gosh, he made me so mad, and I'm just going to stay mad. I'm just going to simmer in all of that stew that I've built up for me. And those, sometimes when you do the pause, you still can't let it go. And I've had people say that, I can't let it go. You know what the angels told me what that means?
What?
That word can't means I choose not to.
Absolutely.
I choose not to. So when you're saying I can't let it go, you're choosing not to let it go. And that just changes the whole scenario, doesn't it?
It really does. And if you say I can't with purpose and awareness that you're really choosing not to, that's very different than what happens in many of our lives, is that we just adopt the way somebody talks. Maybe it's our parents, maybe it's our friends. And we just say, I can't, and it becomes this non-word. It's just a phrase that happens without you realizing it. And that's what I mean by the gerbil wheel. Sometimes you get on there, you don't even know what you're saying. You're not even listening to yourself. The words just come out. But words have power, like our dear friend Karen says. The words are your wand. And they either motivate you or they demotivate you. And so, you know, part of the challenge with can't, for me, because I had many times when I really have shifted to say, I won't. I'm just not ready yet. I'm going to sit here in this stuff because not only does it feel familiar, and sometimes we're uncomfortable in our familiar, but we're not comfortable enough to shift.
And won't is so much more powerful than can't.
Yeah.
Can't puts us as a victim. I have a lack. Can't. I'm choosing not to. So I'm not going to go there. I won't. You're stepping into your power. You have that choice.
Yes.
You have the choice. You're making the decision. So I like that, ShaRon. I like that shift from can't to
won't. That works very well.
Yeah, until you're ready to. I won't allow whatever that is until I'm ready to shift it and change it.
And, you know, in this community, and maybe for people, because I have posted this on my page, who may or may not be aware of what at least I believe and what I have learned, is that I can only control me 100% of the time. I
Right.
cannot control other people, how they act, what they say to me, how they disregard me. I mean, I would prefer they didn't, for sure. And I would like to tell them what I think about that. And I do sometimes, but most of the time, Teri, just like you said, I realize, this is the image that I'm seeing in my head right now, is that I have this magnet of my heart. It's outward. And a magnet magnetizes things. And when people go by that have no relationship to me, no lesson for me, whether I know them or not, they just keep going by. But when someone gets magnetized to my heart by either treating me well or treating me with disregard, it's me that has pulled them to me for me to observe and uncover what happened in my emotions with that. So that person, you said, he made me mad, he hurt me. Well, somehow my magnet pulled him in to show me where that hurt is so that I can do something about it. Do I need to now not be around this person? Do I need to realize I'm hurt a lot? So what's that about? Whatever it is, in that pause, you have permission given, hopefully by yourself, when you're ready, if you're ready, to think about why you reacted that way.
Yes. I call it divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
We may not be ready in that moment that the incident happens, the conflict or whatever happens. But later on, as we sit with ourselves, we may be ready then to take that look, like what you were just saying. Has this happened before? Has this come up for me before? And now I'm seeing the pattern. I'm seeing how my buttons are being pushed. So where is that button? Let me just get rid of that button so that I don't keep going into anger and regret and sadness and guilt and shame and blame.
And think everybody's out to get me, because your lesson's going to keep coming. So everybody's going to look like they're out to get you when really they just keep passing that magnet. You got this one and then the next one until you demagnetize that so that it doesn't affect you as much.
Right.
And that's the benefit of a coach like you, Teri, or like me, because when you take something away or you recognize that you want to change it and you just try and lift it out, there's an open space that's left. And spaces like to have something fill them up. And so that's where Teri and I and any other wonderful person that you are allowing to help you have new thought can give you something different to replace that hole. Because if you don't, that thought's just going to jump right back in there. I'm a victim, I'm a problem, nobody likes me, any of that. And when you take it out, and then you can have something to replace it. And I'm sure we have a variety of things to offer to people. Like that person that said, I don't think I like myself. Well, the question was, would you like to like yourself? So now that's you got off the gerbil wheel and you were given a new thought to think about.
You were giving possibility.
Yes.
Yeah, because when we're on that gerbil wheel, that's all we see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same scene coming up over and over and over again, singing the same song. Oh, woe is me.
Woe is me. That's fun.
I love this. I love this. And we've had comments and we've had people that have said their yes, I would like to like myself. And there, like you said, there are so many tools. Oh my gosh, that is the beauty of being trained as a life coach. In my training, I'm trained as a happiness coach. And a lot of people are drawn to that. And they're like, well, what does that mean? What is a happiness coach anyway? Well, it's a life coach that helps you understand about happiness, that it's not outside of you. Happiness is totally inside of you. Yes. But those things that you perceive to be outside, those thoughts of, oh, he made me whatever, angry, sad, depressed, you could fill in the blank, that just covers up our happiness. And when we have the joyful moments with someone, that adds to our happiness. So I love that as trained coaches, what we bring to the table is helping you, giving you the tools, because like I said, there are so many. And ShaRon, I spent all day yesterday gathering more tools,
Oh,
being immersed with teachers like Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Mel Robbins, Robin Roberts, just these wonderful, amazing people who have done the work, who teach it 24/7. And I got a lot of new tools in my toolbox. I'm ready to play.
oh, yay. Who wants to come play with Teri?
No,
She's
right?
got a sandbox full.
It's still spinning from all of it. And this is the beauty of when someone is stuck and we start using some of these tools and we start watching it unravel, don't we? We start
Yes.
watching that process.
And, I think the first step is recognizing what stuck is, because, before 10 years or so ago, before I knew any of the spiritual teaching, to really look at me to see what I was involved, how I was involved in my life, and the world wasn't just happening to me without any awareness. I didn't even know I was stuck. I just thought this was the way it is and I can't figure a way out, so I have to live with it. And that was a debilitating thought a lot of the time. I remember not really understanding, Teri, what happiness was. I just thought happiness was not having a problem at the moment. Then I could be happy, but knowing for sure that another problem was going to come along and then I was going to be not happy.
Yeah.
But now I realize, and I often have the opportunity to share with other people, happiness is within your control no matter what is going on. You get to choose. And happy doesn't mean like, wee, everything's gadookie-doggy. It just means that you are able to find that peace, that contentment, that curiosity. That's in a definition of happiness. Ooh, I'm curious why this is happening around me right now. How is this benefiting me? Even though it really doesn't look like it. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm the observer of someone else's journey. I mean, it's just such an amazing foundation to include that I can choose to be happy.
Absolutely. And a lot of times also, ShaRon, we may be caught up in what's happening in our world and it doesn't look so good. It doesn't look so pleasant. And we see that as a negative. We see, oh my gosh, here I am homeless or jobless, or in the case of James Brown, he was in juvenile detention because of stealing something and really at a very low place in his life. And then he was adopted by someone who was a musician who included him in that music group. And now look at what we got as a benefit of that. Would never have happened if he hadn't been in that place, which looked like the sky is falling down, right?
Like the song,
like
yep.
Those moments, yeah.
But I feel good. I knew that I would now.
We wouldn't have had that amazing song.
No, we wouldn't have, with that much joy in it.
Yes, exactly. So even when the sky is falling down in your world, whatever that looks like, you just open up to what is possible from this. What's the best that can happen from this situation? Yes. And when we hear the stories, the success stories of people like James Brown, that's just one. Oh my God, there are so many millions of success stories of people that were at that place, that bottom of the barrel, and thinking there was no way out, thinking that there was nothing more for them than just being stuck.
Well, Teri, there's a current event news story that happened right before I came on with you. And I don't know if people have seen it, but Tiger Woods was in an horrific car crash this morning. where he had to have people come with the jaws of life to get him out of the car. And the car looks awful. And the preliminary report is that he was taken to the hospital and he has severe injuries in his legs because the car was crushed. And so I know from following his career, because he's just an amazing person, even with the good, the bad, and the ugly within and around him, that he has recovered from a lot of things. He has come back from, oh, that's so terrible. Just wait a minute. Oh, look at the recovery. To, oh, that's so sad. But look at the recovery that he's gone through. So I hope he continues to write his story, because as you can imagine, being a golfer and having a major injury to your back or your legs or your arms or your sight is debilitating. But he came back from a back injury.
Yeah.
And maybe, who knows, he'll write a different story, turn a different way. I don't know, but I'm intrigued as an observer and an admirer of him to see what he does after this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe in miracles. I believe in angels. I believe that that they were with him.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Have you ever had those any moments, Teri, in your life where, as I'm told, I don't know if, I mean, I kind of believe it because I've had those moments where this could have been an exit opportunity for me. And for some reason, I either chose or my spirit said, nah, not ready. You're not quite done yet. I've had more than one of those. And it is an interesting reflection when you just avert something that could have taken you out, or you just missed the accident that happened right in front of you, or any of those things. Have you had any experiences like that, Teri?
Oh, I have had several, ShaRon, throughout my lifetime. But the one I want to share with you happened, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think how many years, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't remember the exact year that it happened. But I lived alone in my little apartment, and it was tile on the floor, very hard. It wasn't carpet. And I had 2 cats at the time, and I had moved the cat bed closer to my bed so that they were right beside me, because sometimes they were like restless at night. And I thought, well, if they're closer to me, maybe they'll be comforted and sleep. Well, I forgot I had done that. So I get up in the night. It was after midnight. I stumble over the cat bed, and somehow my body twisted, and I ended up flat on my back on this tile floor in front of my doorway. My head was split open. I heard it. I heard the crack. So I knew it was split open.
Oh, no.
And like I said, it was after midnight. There was nothing around me to pull up with. And I knew I was injured. I could feel the blood, felt it rushing out of my head.
Oh, Teri.
And I just laid there for a minute. I couldn't get up. And I just knew that if I kept laying there, that would be an exit point for me, because I was bleeding out. You know, head wounds bleed profusely. So I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I see angels, and I hear them ask me, do you want to just go? Do you want to go at this point? It is an exit point if you choose.
What?
And I'm laying there, and I'm thinking, you know, it would be really easy, wouldn't it? Because I wasn't in pain. I was just laying there, and I'm going, this would be so easy. All I have to do is close my eyes. And the angels are already here. They're ready for me if I make this decision right now. And I was at that moment of just considering it, when something, I don't know what it was, some inner resolve or something kicked in that said, oh, wait a minute, I'm not done yet. I'm not ready yet, angels. No, it's not my time, because I still have so much to do. I knew that I had a big mission.
Yeah.
As soon as I said those words, and gave my answer to them, I was on my feet. I was on my feet. I cannot explain it. I don't know how. I do know how. It was them. But
Yeah.
physically, it would have been impossible for me with my head split open, weakened already, to get up off of that tile floor with no help. The cats weren't able to help me, and they weren't able to dial 911 either. So I got up, walked to the bathroom, holding on to things. I got a
Wow.
towel and put it on the back of my head. Well, that head wound ended up having to have 5 staples to put it back together, and was a real turning point for me because it showed me a few things. That I was rushing too much. That's one lesson. When you're tripping, you're going too fast to really see what's going on around you. And that, yes, my commitment to doing this mission in life, whatever it looked like, because at that point I didn't know what it looked like. I just knew it was big. I knew it was coming. And it really solidified that for me that, okay, I was given this opportunity to wake up once again and really look at life and look at my life in particular. So yes, those angels showed up big time for me. As soon as they were aware that help was needed, I think my guardian angels put out the call and
Yeah.
said, she needs you right
She
now.
needs you.
So that's just one event in my life where they've showed up, and there's been quite a few of those actually, but that's the one that just really pops out. Anybody asks, how do you know there's angels? How do you know they're real? How do you know that they're going to be there for you when you need them? Well, they showed up, they suited up, and they showed up. And they helped me up off the floor, that's for sure.
That is an amazing story.
I tell you, it changed my life.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, how could that not?
Yeah, that was when I said, I am all in. I am all in. And no more wasted moments, no more, dilly-dallying and sitting on the couch. They helped me to get up off the couch. And to,
literally, if the couch were a floor, it helped you literally get up off the floor. That's a miracle. That's what people would describe as a miracle, Teri.
Oh, it absolutely was. I recognize that.
And I'm just in awe that you have the clarity and the ability to hear them and see them, so that you know tangibly what and who are helping you.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those of us, including me, who don't have that, this is an amazing information from someone who lived it, that we are always helped. We are always protected. Every choice is a beautiful, perfect choice, and you have a choice.
Yes.
And I have a quick story of not seeing them, not knowing they were there. And it was profound. Now, in this time in my life, I continue to say, oh God, thank you. I worked in New York, and I worked at night in the women's department of a clothing store. And I usually get off at 9:30, and I'm tired. And in New York, there's a lot of debris on the road. It's not always clean. And to get to my house, I had to go up a hill where you couldn't see the top of the hill, and then curve down and around to get to my house. And I was tired, and I'm driving, and I got to the top of the hill, and I see a cardboard box in the street, and I go, oh, I don't feel like maneuvering left or right. I'm just gonna, kick it out of the way with the car. Well, literally before I had even finished that sentence, I was up close to it, and it wasn't a cardboard box. It was a cement brick, the bottom of the light poles that hold the light pole in. So you know how much girth that is. It's tall, it's wide, it's deep, and it's solid concrete. And I swerved just in time when my eyes were like, wait a minute. And I feel like they just, now I can say, they came and took my car and said, wait wake up, girl.
Yeah.
You're not done. I didn't get the choice. I don't think. I mean, I was obviously involved in it to some degree spiritually,
Right.
but my human physical self did not realize I had a choice. I just thought I was saved by grace.
Mhm. Absolutely, you were. Oh, chills. And thank God, I have so much gratitude right now that
Yes.
you're still here, that I'm still here. We're
That
still
we're
standing.
together. Yes. And we did not take that one of however many there are exit points for us that you chose. I was helped. So I think for me, the moral, if there is, or the reason for us sharing this story is to help the people that are watching to understand whether you think you know that they're out there helping you, whoever it is, or you have zero awareness. They are helping you.
Yes.
And so just know you're never alone. You're always guided. You're always supported, even if you don't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's their job. And they do their job so well. They are messengers. That's what an angel means. That it's a messenger, and whatever that looks like. Sometimes the message is bringing in some healing energy, like with Raphael. Sometimes the message is to give us clarity. And
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like everyone who does what we do, ShaRon, is it's life coaches, um, supporters, people who bring in an energy of clarity. I really feel Archangel Gabriel just oversees all of us.
Yeah.
He's one, he, she, ever angels really don't have a gender, but that's the one that guides us. That's the one that helps us to know those words to say or
Mm-hmm.
to be there at that right moment for somebody to pour their heart out and for us to be able to be the observer and to say words that come straight from spirit that help to provide that moment of clarity and comfort.
Well, in this gratitude happy hour, thank you, Archangel Gabriel.
Right. So much, so much gratitude.
Yes, because you're busy right about now.
Yeah.
Helping everyone help each other to awaken, to recognize, to forgive, to allow us really, I use the phrase the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we all have it to some degree. And if we were a little more allowing and less judgmental about somebody's bad part, because we know sooner or later we're going to be in that spot,
Mhm.
what a different world this would be. What a different world if we allowed people to show who they are, be comfortable who they are, knowing, yeah, I'm gonna mess up. I might mess up pretty bad, or I might mess up a little bit, but I'm gonna be forgiven, and people are not gonna treat me or shun me as often as they would, not knowing that they too have the good and the bad and the ugly within them. And they would not want to be treated how some people give themselves permission to treat others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're all a work in progress. You know, what is it that Abraham says? You can't get it wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't get
Love
it wrong.
that. Can't get it wrong.
Yeah. Just go with the flow of what's happening with you. If there's something that you're not happy about and you're not comfortable with, then look at that. Examine that. But just realize we're not going to be perfect. We're in these
Mm-hmm.
human bodies. And I loved listening to Tony Robbins yesterday.
Oh,
And
what do you have to say?
he talked about perfection. And he said that perfection doesn't exist. We
Right.
can't achieve perfection. So when we're saying that we want something to be perfect or our idea of perfect, then we're setting a standard that doesn't even exist. We're doing ourselves a disservice. He said
Yes.
instead, progress is what leads you to happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So say you have this goal that you want to achieve, or even a way of being that you want to be yourself. Don't look at that perfect way that you envision it. Look at the progress that you make. Give yourself, celebrate every little step along the way. Just like you do, I've dieted most of my life. So every step that I make that, I either lose weight or, shrink another size, that progress is celebrated. Well, it's the same with our lives. When we have something that we've accomplished, celebrate it. Be joyful, be happy about it. Yeah.
One of the things I say under the umbrella of no judgment, just love, which I'm sure other people have said in a similar way, is that just to your point, Teri, everyone is doing the best they can. Everyone is doing the best they can, even if it doesn't look like it to you. Because someone could look at my 10-pound weight loss when I really have 50 and not see the 10-pound progress and choose to judge me that I haven't done anything. But I know I lost 10 pounds. I'm doing the best I can. It may not look like it to you because I haven't got to that imperfect perfect that you'd like me to get to.
Right.
But I've advanced. I've made progress. I've moved forward. And the other alignment that I'm making with that statement that Tony Robbins said, that there is no perfection. Perfection can equal conclusion. Perfection can equal a job finished. And we are an infinite universe with infinite possibilities, constantly moving and shaping and shifting and changing, which to me equals the definition that it cannot ever be perfect because it's constantly changing. So that progress, that advancement, that moving somewhat forward for me makes clarity now. It's a different definition that I can take. And somebody can tell me, yeah, perfection's not possible. A teacher for a mom who was constantly telling me, that's not perfect yet, that's not right yet, that's not good yet. So that's still, sometimes in my head, especially when I write. And so now I can help dissipate that judgmental voice with a scientific, which doesn't always resonate with me, but with a definition of everything's infinite. It's always changing. There is no perfection.
That's right. I love it. And ShaRon, sometimes we look at people that are in the limelight and we want to see them as perfect. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. I absolutely adore this one author, and I read her, everything that she publishes. I read it, I gobble it up. And so I'm reading in this chapter, and all of a sudden there's a misspelled word. And there's a mistake there, a typo. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is a book that's very well known. This is a book that's like, number one, whatever. And there's a typo right in this chapter. And it's a very obvious one. And I'm like, that just did something for me. This came the day after hearing Tony Robbins make that statement and talking about, progress. And it helps me then to loosen up some of those thoughts about putting people on pedestals and everything they do is gold. And there's nothing that they do wrong. And then here's that evidence just showing itself to me that, what? We are all, doesn't matter who it is, we are all a work in progress.
Yes. And Teri, you've written books and I've written books. And after the 12th time reading it, I'm not really reading it. I'm just going, okay, until I have learned now, I ask, okay, you guys out there, you angels, whomever, my team, you can see more than I can see. Just point me to the place where I made a mistake so I don't have to read this thing for the 13th time.
Right.
And more often than not, I find one, or I just do a muscle test and say, is this good enough? Or is there something else I should look at? And I trust that's another topic, Teri, one day we'll have to have on trust.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That is a big one.
It is a big one. It absolutely is. But ShaRon, I don't think there are any accidents or coincidences in life. This particular book was published by Hay House, who I know they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb over and over and over and over again. The fact that was there for me.
Yes. Yes. And you know what would be even more,
Solidified.
you know what would be even curiouser, more of a curiosity, how to say that, is if you're the only one who saw it.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
No one else has that book that has that particular. I just think that's so cool. That's another miracle possibility.
Yeah.
But how perfect that you brought that, your heart magnetized it. You magnetized that so you could move forward, make some progress about judgments of certain things or pedestals, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love how we maneuver through this lifetime, getting exactly what we need in every moment, every moment.
Whether we want it or not, we're going to get it.
Whether it feels good or not, we get it.
And you know, Teri, probably about that same 10 years ago where there was a before ShaRon and now there's an after ShaRon, somewhere in my spirit I heard, you know, you can learn and progress and grow through pain or through peace. And I said, why the heck would I continue to choose pain? Because this has hurt a long time. And as soon as I made that affirmation, that declaration, I want to progress in peace, I hardly ever have a really, really devastating, debilitating lesson to learn. It may be a little hard, I may not want it, but it's not as harmful and uncomfortable as it was before. So you can make a declaration. I want to move forward with peace and joy, and like Teri says, happiness.
Joy. And, you know, speaking of peace, I promise people every week that on this show, I'll give you an update on the Peace on Earth.
Oh, yay! I'm sitting back in my chair to listen.
I love this. I am just every day floating. I really am floating. I don't know how that angel mobile stays on the ground because I'm lifted up so high. But I am currently in Paso Robles, California. I've done one land blessing here, and that was in Solvang, close to our Karen Palmer. And she actually took me to the spot, and we were able to do a Facebook Live because we had Wi-Fi there. And so we shared that out. So if you haven't seen that, it is on YouTube, and you can go find that. And you can also go to my website, angelspeakers.com, and it has the link to all the land blessings. There's a playlist, and you can watch any of them. So one land blessing has been done here in California. Now, here's the thing. This thing keeps evolving and changing and shifting because that's how the angels are. And like you said, ShaRon, it's an infinite world of infinite possibilities. So anything is a go at any given moment. There's no limits to this. So far, I have done 9 land blessings, and they've been in 9 different states. Well, now I'm getting requests to do more land blessings here in California.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that California is big. It's a really, really big state. So I've had a request to do one further south than what I had done the first one, and one further north. So I'm looking at both of those and just asking the angels. And I know already I'm going to do the one down south. That spot's already picked out. It's already there waiting for me to come down with the angel mobile and do the blessing. And then the one in the northern part is near Sacramento. Oh. And that's in the works right now, being developed so that can happen. And then once that one is done in Sacramento, I will head on to Mount Shasta. That is the game plan. And I think, you know, I saw myself being in Shasta back in January, February timeframe, but I didn't know. The angels knew, but I didn't know that this Arctic storm was going to take over our country and freeze everything. Oh, yeah. And so they made it possible for me to be in a place with mild temperature and not have to deal with all of that. And had I been in Mount Shasta at that time, I might have frozen to death.
Yeah, yeah.
So they know what they're doing. They're in control of the timeline, not me. Mm-hmm. But I know I'm definitely going to Shasta. And when I get there, there will probably be a land blessing in that area as well. So California could end up with 4 land blessings instead of just 1 because it's big and it has many, many things that are in need of bringing forth, and especially peace.
Yeah, absolutely, Teri. That's beautiful. And I just love that you have, and maybe always have, I don't know, relaxed into the journey. Because even though you know these 4 points of destination, there's so much to stay present and experience as you follow your guidance to get there. And that's a wonderful metaphor for our lives. Is that we have dreams, we have goals, and we'll attain them or not, and they'll look like we expect or not. But don't miss every single moment of the beautiful day you're in, longing for that other thing that hasn't come to you yet.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. And that's so true. I cannot believe we're out of time. We are. So one last thing I want to share is that there is a new website just for the Peace on Earth tour. I've been running everything through Angel Speaker's website, but I heard them tell me to do a website just for the tour. And I've already started putting in some of the pictures that I've taken along the way of the people that have been so delicious and have allowed me to photograph them with the Angel Mobile. And so and some of the scenery. So that's in the progress right now. And the website is peaceonearthtour.live.
Oh, beautiful.
Remember, and please check it out. I've written a blog for the last 2 days, but one yesterday was on progress, not perfection.
Yay.
So, that. And ShaRon, I would love for you to share your website. I'm going to type it in as you speak it.
Okay, my website is www.njjl.world. And that's no judgment, just love.world. And that's my email as well, ShaRon@njjl.world.
I'm putting that in here as well.
Thank you, Teri.
And please reach out to ShaRon. Such a beautiful life. And ShaRon, I'm so happy that I'm going to be working more closely with you, with We the World.
Oh, yes.
Embraced the Peace on Earth tour. And the founder of We the World is excited about possibilities of how we're going to bring this further and wider into our world for more people to experience that energy of peace.
Yes. And if anyone wants to connect with the organization that Teri and I are part of, it's called We the World, and the website is we.net. So easy, we.net.
Hey, there you go. Please do so. Please support We the World. It's such a huge mission, and there's beautiful people like ShaRon there.
And Teri.
And me.
Yes. Teri, thank you so much. I always love our time together.
Me too. And now we have to do it again. Whoops. Cancel, clear, delete. We get to do it again because we're going to talk about trust. And that'll be our next topic when we get together. So thank you, my dear. I love you so very much. You're amazing,
Teri. Thank you.
Such a great service to the world. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Teri. You too, my sweet.
And those of you that joined us today, thank you. I'll read your beautiful comments. ShaRon and I were having so much fun. I glanced over and I could see a couple of them, but I'll go in and read your comments after.
Me too.
Respond. And thank you for being here. I love you so much. And ShaRon, I have this tradition with every show that I do. The way I end it is by acknowledging that light that's in you, that's the same as that light that's in me. And that word is namaste. So I always say to you, my guest, and to everyone that came in and that will listen later, namaste, y'all.
Namaste, y'all.
I love you. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.